Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm in the book. I'm about to give you a nice lesson on the three levels of the mind: unconscious, subconscious, and conscious. Good lesson. Let's go. I got a nice little one for you today. Let's rock. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to, know thyself. See where we're going with this? Okay, so let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. Yeah, that's what I do. It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my eye be true. Yeah, I took a step back to my book, okay, to get this lesson of consciousness. I got a few things I'm picking up here. I'm getting all my concepts about consciousness. I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I'm gonna give you my perspective. I got one too. Let me give you three levels of the mind, aka conscious. All matter, be it sentient or excuse me, meaning moving or not moving, is sustained by consciousness. I keep telling you, God is spirit and consciousness. They tell you here, all matter, be it sentient or inert, is sustained by consciousness, aka God. Okay? So, however, a living being reflects certain special qualities of consciousness, aka the three phases. All right? And which gives you a varying degrees of what we call intelligence in this according to the particular life form where the spirit energy is present in all living things from plant life to animal life to us human life, and consciousness manifests in various degrees of what? Expansion of obtaining knowledge according to the level of your educational development, spiritual understanding, and also of your nervous system. You know what that is? The tree of life, the nervous system, the good and evil, of the particular life form. Human life always reflects varying degrees of consciousness according to the person who's doing it. We all have consciousness. But this is why what? There are certain people, there we go, come on, pay attention now, who are more in touch with what? Earthly values, while others who are more in touch with spiritual values. Earthly values mean material things. Spiritual values mean internal things. Outside, inside. Spirit people are internal beings. External being, ignorant people are external. Okay, watch this now. This is why people differ more. Go now and more touch with their spiritual value. Okay, now God is spirit. Remember, God is spirit and consciousness. So it's both internal, and you can't touch, see, or feel neither one of them. Where's the conscious located? You don't know. Okay, then we done examined the brain, looked up in there. We ain't found consciousness yet. Okay, Same thing for the spirit. Let's go. So now, according to the level of your knowledge and education, aka your level of purification, the subject may what experience lesser levels of consciousness. Why? Such as pain, misery, sorrow, loneliness, morbid thoughts, negative ideas, etc. Why is that? Because at the higher level of consciousness, this is what they think, such as harmony, peace, and happiness. See the difference in the mindsets? Even while you are in your human body, pay attention, this is the good one right here. You can become what? One with God. In the one with God, but in consciousness. Again, that's where God is up here. The temple's not built, made with human hands, between the temples of the brain and the hemispheres. This is the idea behind the teachings that is said men are mortal gods, believing they're human, and gods are what? Immortal men who have been enlightened to know that what? They are one with God. So the Egyptian proverb, that's what they knew. And they tell you the Christians had their concept what they said, know ye not that ye are gods. Jesus said that. He tell you also the Father and I one. He gave you a whole bunch of parables that you, oh, Jesus. Okay, so he was just making a point. He was giving you a symbolic message, a subliminal information that you could use esoterically and better yourself. And the idea is that even though, listen, you are associated with your lower vibrational state, which is normal, that's the ego self of matter, the physical body here on earth, you can learn by studying and then meditating and what? Raise now your consciousness, your spiritual knowledge, your understanding to a higher vibrational state. They say what? Study to prove yourself, show yourself approved. And with the higher vibrational state, you can reach the supreme self. The spiritual disciplines that it takes from yoga is to seek to transform. The goal is to transform your human body into a purified vessel wherein your subtle spirit can fully manifest itself through daily life, living right, doing right, and growing spiritually. Oh, happy people just living life, enjoying life. When you get to age where you just glad to wake up, you winning. Every time you wake up, you winning. But if you are destitute, you're in some place you don't want to be, that ain't winning. But it's your situation. Remember, everything you do comes back to you, be it good or bad. You're responsible. Otherwise, what? Your energy would be what? Distorted. Your ideas, your consciousness would be distorted due to what? Ignorance. Again, ignorance. And other gross egoistic qualities that lie in your lower self will emerge. Your ego will take over. Your ego will step up. And the human nervous system, aka the tree of good and evil, has the potential for reflecting one's higher range, the higher range of what? Consciousness. Cosmic consciousness, becoming one with the higher self. Or we call it oneness with the mind of God. I don't write this, I just learn it, practice it, and hopefully teach it to somebody else to understand. Becoming one with God is all mental. Okay? Order, watch this. The order of your nervous system complexity is made up of, first, they start with the plant life, nature. Then they moved up next level to animal life. Again, nature. And then human life. That's when conscious was given a chance to what? Expand itself in the human form, because animals don't have consciousness. They can't know themselves. Plants don't need to know themselves. So that quality reserved for human beings. And we're able to what? With that ability, consciousness, we're able to what? Transform and have a transcendental experience of what? Becoming conscious, waking up, having that experience with God. Hope this is making sense to you, because this is can't get no plainer than this. The book put out, I can put it out too. I got the same thing. Let's go. So the mind is composed, first of all, of three levels. I just told you that, three levels. One is unconscious. Second one is subconscious. The third is conscious. That's the state that if you're paying attention right now, you won't. We're in the conscious state right now. The unconscious state is when we take that little siesta time to take a break. But the subconscious never stops. It keeps everything going. It runs the body, so to speak. So they got the unconscious when you sleep in dream mode. Then you subconscious takes care of everything. You don't worry about breathing, your heart pounding, none of that. It takes care of everything. It runs the body. That's the 90-10. And the conscious mind is when you become awoke and conscious of the moment that you're in. Those three should work together and harmonize to get you where you need to be in a state of what? Awareness of who you are consciously. Let's talk about it. The unconscious level of mind is of unimaginable depth, meaning it is the level in which the deepest impressions of your mind lay dormant. Okay, they ain't ready to do nothing yet. Okay, you haven't activated. You ain't went that deep yet. My man, deep diver, dive deep because that's what your unconscious needs you to do. But these impressions that lay dormant in your unconscious mind, they are gathered through what? Now you got them? Through your life experiences. What? Prior life. Okay? If you here in this life, your spirit has been here before. Okay? Moving on. But not only in this lifetime, like I just said, but in previous ones as well. Your spirit has the memory, okay? It is at this level of your mind that determines your conscious, your thoughts, your desires, your beliefs, and aspirations for oneself. If that's distorted, if that's misguided, misinterpreted, you're going to go the wrong way. But these thoughts and desires and your belief and aspiration only become what evident when they appear in what? In your conscious level of mind. When you put it to use, start to act on them. If they are if they acted upon, once they appear in your conscious mind, they translate into what? Actions in your daily life. So you think it, so you are. If you believe it, so you are. So they systemize and customize a belief system to hook you with what you believe, not what you know. The ancients needed to know. Experience is the best teacher. Experience God and you know him for yourself. So therefore, who you think you are is based on your own personal impressions, ego self that gathered in your what? Your unconsciousness, your unconscious mind, and you are always acting out of these deepest beliefs. Why? About yourself. If you don't know yourself, you got to become an actor. You got to pretend. You got to act like. No, when you know yourself, you ain't got to act nothing. You can be. That's why I'm so glad I can be myself. Wow, once you know yourself, now you can be yourself. You can't be yourself if you don't know yourself. I ain't got time for y'all. So, if your beliefs are erroneous, misinterpreted, corrupted, any way you want to look at it, if it's wrong, that means your way of life will lead you to frustrations and sorrows and what? Negativity in your life. You're going to pay the consequences for what? Bad decision making, from being ignorant and misled, misguided, or sometimes your own misinterpretation. If your understanding is correct, ding, 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 woo, hoo, hoo. If y'all was understanding the teachings that Jesus was putting out, y'all wouldn't be so misguided, so messed up. Why? Because you get the idea. Y'all still believe he lived. So that means y'all ain't figured it out yet. Okay? Moving, that's my first thing. But again, when the teachings are understood correct, then you can manifest. Why? You got truth. You got what you need. Not a bunch of superstitious belief is nonsense. Excuse me. But if your understanding of the teachings is correct, that means your experiences will now what? Be positive and enlightening. That's not too hard to comprehend. I'm hoping that's not above your head to understand that. Unconscious impressions have been compared to what they call seeds. What you do to seeds, you plant them in the ground, and what? They want to grow. That's the concept. And what? So when you had an experience in the past, you had a certain feeling about that experience. That experience for that time should have what enlightened you and prepared you for the next time you have that situation come again. You know how to do it or don't do it. What the right way or the wrong way. And but two ways to go, right or wrong. And when you don't know, you got a 50-50 shot. When you do know, you know just what to do. And this feeling, watch this, was registered where? In the unconscious mind. So now it was planted there and it remained dormant until what? In your conscious, unconscious level of mind, like a seed. Until what? At a certain point, that seed will grow in the future, and that seed now will what? Sprout in the form of what? Subtle desires. Some of the flesh, some of the other objects, but it's coming up from your unconscious mind that you don't even know is there. At the time it was planted, you weren't paying attention. So now, man, I don't know why I did that. I don't know what come over me. Okay, those are things that the mind had to deal with because you acting out of what? Emotions most of the time, or ignorance, the other part. So the layer that's between your unconscious and your conscious mind is what? Subconscious. Why? It will then move into your conscious level where you become now, supposedly from experience, of it as a thought or a desire. An example of an impression is as follows. If your previous lifetime, in your previous lifetime, well, how you know I had a previous lifetime? All spirits have. Why? If they don't get enlightened, they gotta find another body. They get enlightened, they go home. So that's how I know. It's called reincarnation. And you've done it a few times. So have I. But I'd say now, this is my last time. But in your previous lifetime, you were what? Helpless, sickly, okay, and sickly as a child. So you witnessed again your own experience from the past. Your family died from a plague back in the early 19th century. Everybody died from the bubonic plague, whatever it was. But as a result, you gathered these impressions of what? Anger, fear toward what? Diseases. So now in this lifetime, you have an unexplained desire to become a doctor. Okay, makes sense. The thoughts of your mind center around medical science for a reason from the previous life experiences. And now your aspirations that draw you toward this field. You may not remember the actual experiences yourself. Why? Because it wasn't you, just a spirit. And which propelled you to act in this certain manner, to strive to do and be a doctor for your own personal reasons. But the feelings that have registered deeply in your unconscious mind will come to surface sooner or later. They're coming out. And thoughts and desires and beliefs and aspirations are what lead each one of us to the very positive or negative situation in which we find ourselves in what? Throughout our life. We all been in a situation, man, how the hell did I get here? Okay, yeah, those times. We all done that, we've all done it. Okay. But the impressions that lead to these desires and lead to the thoughts, and the thoughts lead to what? Now performing the activity. Dun 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 dun. In an effort to gain what? Desire what you desire. Our goals in life, our dreams and aspirations, stuff that we want. Everybody want different things, but everybody want that money. They love that material. Some people like pleasures of the flesh. Some people like drugs, alcohol. Your choice. Do whatever you want. That's what you come here to be free and just do what you want. Why? Till you get it right, you'll be coming back. Moving on. And these activities may be successful or unsuccessful. Don't make a difference. Why? Because if you gain what is desired, you feel elated, happy. Yeah, I got that off. Yeah, I got mine. And you become greedy. That's the ego right there. If it gets what it wants, it's not going to be satisfied with that. What? it's going to want more. Sound familiar? Sounds familiar? That greed? And it's going to crave for what? More and more, and it's going to desire even more. If the actions were unsuccessful, you know what's going to happen? You upset. That creates the feeling of what? Disappointment, frustration, anger, and between the elation, the greed, craving, frustration, and anger is only going to create more negative impressions that will what? Now compel the mind to more negative actions. Out of what? Greed and pleasures that they want to get, they're going to do it again. But these actions lead to a more, what? Entanglements. That's the word the girl used, Jada Pinkett. She was having entanglements. Okay? Well, gets you going the wrong way, getting involved with stuff that you got no business doing. So it leads you to more entanglements, what, in the world, in which is what, in reality, all just illusion, just as if it was a dream. But you actually doing it. You live in it. You brought it to life. You take that thought, you had the desire, so you went and did what you had to do. And every time you do something like that, there's always going to be regret and resentment. Why? Because it wasn't good. It was good to you at the time. It felt good, but that don't make it good. Thus, people all become entangled in these webs of their human existence that they create for themselves. The whole time, what? While they're alive, and they are led and compelled by what? Their unconscious desires, those impressions, those seeds that were planted long time ago. And even the desires, your desires will even stay strong after death. That's why you come back. Why? You ain't finished. You got more to do. So you got to come back. And what's this? Now to continue what? Seeking satisfaction of the ego. The ego after death is still have desires, what they tell you. And it's based thoughts and desires and beliefs and aspirations are still desirable. These eventually lead to what? Repeated, ready? Reincarnations. For what? Your soul. Because it's not going to get enlightened, because you're not going to do the things you need to do for that to happen for you. So what? You're going to die. The body's going to die. Your consciousness is wiped away, and the spirit got to come back. And it's going to have some residue from your life to take on to the next life that they're going to go into. Whatever messed up thoughts you left on it, it's going to take it to the next life. Moving on, let me wrap it up. All right, well, I'm at diet. Oh, Lord. The external, okay, let's talk about the external movements and the desires of the mind that keeps your conscious self, what? Distracted, busy, agitated with what? Worldly pursuits and personal problems that you cause fetters. And so, therefore, there is no really time for what? Introspection. No meditation time, no quiet time, no me time. Always on the go, always got something to do, always busy. They ain't never taking care of themselves. That's why Luke failed, okay? And there's no time for introspection, which you should do daily, or inward reflection of oneself. Thus, there is no self-awareness in the inner self of the inner self. Why? Now that's the ego self is all about its desires and its fancy leads to your intellect into what? Interaction with the world in a negative way. The intellect now leads the soul on this misguided, ignorant quest of what? Pleasures to fulfill the egoistic desires. And that's a lot of us like that. Okay. But the soul, what? Remains as a quiet observer. He riding shotgun. He ain't got no say so. He's just along for the ride. And is forced to what? To have to follow and go along with the whims of your ego and your weak intellect, ignorance. The soul now will have to identify itself, what? With the intellect and the ego, and it believes what? Now the soul is in the belief mode. It done got caught up. So now it believes that these are my thoughts and these are my desires, so I must go along and pursue them. This fool got me going the wrong way. I just got to go with him. All right. But this is the situation that occurs only when the mind is beset by ignorance. Excuse me, I get sight. I get calmed down. But now, in a healthy human being, Your soul should be what? The guiding, the ruler of your intellect, and your intellect should be the director over one's ego. Don't get me started. I'm trying to tell you, you got to get that ego thing under control. You got to understand that. That's important. And in this way, once you do that, now the intellect and the ego will become what? Instruments of your soul and not the other way around. I told you, reverse it. Get the ego under control and put his ass to work for you. You take care of the ignorance nonsense, okay? My ego takes care of my ignorant side. That's why I ain't got to worry too much about that. Why? He's still on his job. Okay, I tell you about the ego. He's the best flirt you got. He'd be your worst enemy if you don't get him under your control. He's gonna be a pain in your ass. Okay, so this is the correct order and what we call mastership, self-mastery in the human psyche. Calm down. In addition, on the spiritual path that we call life, as you access your greater self, your higher self, who is the cosmic soul and consciousness, that the self will now become what? The true master of your intellect and even run your physical body. As above, so below. If this is right, the bottom will be right too. You get your chakras in line, you do everything you're supposed to do. The body will function like a well-oiled machine the way it was intended. Let me wrap it up with this. I'm gonna like this. I got 2 more minutes. I'm going to wrap this last one up. So therefore, this is the coup de grace. In order to engender a real transformation, change yourself from ignorant to enlightenment in the conscious level of what? Your mind, the unconscious level of mind must be transformed to a higher level of consciousness. Hello? So your conscious level of mind is where the thought, your vibrations that's in your mind become what? Fully realized internally. And this is what they call the level of mind in which you can now exert control over your mental thoughts, control over your ego self. And in this system, it's the integral yoga practice of what we call yoga of wisdom facilitates this process. I've mastered the yoga of wisdom also, so I'm understanding 100%. Now, I said I'm going to stop. I got a little more. Hold on with me. Now, in order for this profound transformation to take place in your mind, in order for it to occur, you must first have a firm grasp of what you should accept as the truth. Spiritual discipline, learn spiritual truths, understand them, put them to use, and find out. Most people just accept the information given to them, aka believers, or by their senses, which are the 5 senses of the body. That's never going to be enough. But upon closer inspection, this information is found to be faulty and illusory. Hello, the lies, I keep telling you that. But the ancient Egyptian philosophy I practiced and mastered, Mayat, Sematawi Shitaneta, will provide the guideline and for total understanding of what is real. I know what's real. And that which is unchanging. Know that too. If you reflect upon this idea, now you will soon realize that you and what is constantly changing cannot be real. Only thing that don't change is truth. It don't change. Maya's feather don't change. The concept. Only that which is abiding is real. Hello? Now, upon closer inspection of your sensory organs, meaning the 5 concepts, the 5 senses of the body, you will now discover that they are constantly changing and your perceptions are never exactly the same. Again, we already noted that the human senses are limited in their information gathering ability. All you can do is smell, see, hear, taste, touch, and taste. Also, if you have a cold or if you become injured, now your perceptions are a little different. Why? One of them ain't working. Therefore, the conditioned mind senses human life and your egoistic feelings cannot be trusted. Let me say it again. Therefore, the conditioned mind, aka the senses and the human life, and your egoistic feelings cannot be trusted, as it means for what? Discovering what reality is. It's not what it believes it is. And the mind has the potential to truly discover reality, but only when it is, you ready? Pure, devoid of what? Taints and corruption. And that's produced by what? Egoism, good Google Moogle, and ignorance. Rather, you need to be able to discover your deeper aspects of yourself, aka know thyself, by what? Your mind, through your mind, so that you may be able to discover the illusionariness of thoughts and the physical desires and your ignorant beliefs and aspirations. Most people live life according to what? You ready? Their thoughts, their desires, their belief, and aspiration. That's the mind. That's the mindset that the power that be gets you, and believing right there, believing them to be real. If you live in unbelief, you're not going to get it. However, as we have seen, the entire universe is a dream-like expression of the divine. So therefore, what is there to think about? Your desire or your aspire from this world. Your attempts to gain anything from the world are like gaining something in a dream. Why? You wake up, it's gone. What use is it to find a treasure, watch this, in the dream world? Hit the lottery, get rich. When you wake up, it is what? All for naught. Use it. Wait a minute. When you wake up, it is of what? No use to you. Why? Because it's all in the mind. So therefore, by developing a deep right thinking philosophy practice, yoga, and dispassion towards the world, now the unconscious impressions of thoughts, desires, beliefs, and aspirations become null and void. You don't use them. They don't count. When this occurs, now the unconscious mind becomes purified. Okay? Leaving the conscious mind free to what? Of distractions, negative thoughts, physical desires, and unfelt and ignorant beliefs and wrong aspirations. And be they of positive or negative nature, don't care. Don't do it. This state will allow you to have what? Clear insight into the transcendental level, aka self-knowledge, self-mastery of one's mind that goes way beyond your conscious, subconscious, and even your unconscious capabilities. Why? That's the witness mind. That's God's mind. Becoming one with that mind is the goal for all right thinkers. Get busy, work on yourself, better yourself, and most of all, know yourself. I got to go. I see the clock ran a little long, but I had to get that in. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. And in closing, my right thinkers, man, you all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I've never known my right thinkers who now understand the three levels of the mind or consciousness have passed away. I'll be right back.